The illegal migration scandal I've uncovered on England's border with France is wild. From ship captains helping traffickers to criminals coming to Britain to stab and shoot, I've seen things that the critics tell me would start wars in other countries. In this video, for the first time, I will tell you how it all works. From the migrants' first meeting with people smugglers in Turkey to the British black market where debts are paid.
Are you trafficking people to the UK?
So keep watching and let me show you how far this rabbit hole goes.
You're asylum seekers in the hotel. Could you tell me why you're working?
My name is Zak Garner-Purkis. I'm a journalist who specialises in showing you the things that they don't want you to see. This is Express Reports. The first thing you need to understand is that children are being groomed to travel to Britain by small boats. I heard directly from young people in countries sending crowds to the Calais beaches how social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok have been serving them up videos promoting illegal travel to Britain for years without them asking. When I started digging, it turned out the situation was far worse. Two of the most famous men in Albania had brazenly promoted the lifestyle of UK drug gang workers, live-streamed tours of British cannabis farms, and discussed details of how to come to the UK illegally. The social media companies not only profited from this trend that groomed children for a life of crime, their algorithms then pushed adverts from the people traffickers offering to take kids to Britain by small boat. When I confronted the men making the content glamorising criminality in Britain, they had no answers.
I guess you feel like you can't do anything about it.
But they were more accessible than the social media companies like TikTok or the executives like Meta's Sir Nick Clegg who hid from us.
Sorry, another kill, please.
Okay, all right. So we just went in there, they refused to let us in or film in there, and they won't respond to our questions about Nick Clegg.
You're probably thinking the government should have done something, launched an investigation or threatened the social media companies. And they did do something. They decided to pay some Albanian influencers to make videos dissuading youngsters from travelling to Britain. It would be laughable if it weren't taxpayers' money. Now, I've gone undercover to see what happens after you make contact with the people advertising small boat crossings on social media. The first thing they want is ID. Unlike drug dealers who tend to want to know as little as possible about their customers, people traffickers need to own their clients.
If I don't receive pictures of the passports, I cannot start this at all. I simply need to know who you are, and then the money, you can give me the money after you cross.
The leverage a smuggler uses on the migrant is not a cash deposit. It's their life and their family's safety. In fact, a group of migrants I tracked in Calais told me straight, no money even changes hands. It's all done on a promise.
Are you not worried about the debt? Guarantee.
But I needed more details, so I kept pushing to find someone in the network who would speak. Eventually, I found the owner of one of the social media accounts flogging small boat trips to England. Speaking on the condition of absolute anonymity, they explained that they were one part of a large multinational criminal network that earned billions from trafficking humans. They were remorseless, and they had no fear of being caught, because the authorities, they said, were so far behind.
So you think it can be stopped, but it won't be stopped because the UK, ultimately there are people within the UK that want them.
It also helped that their role ended once the migrants had been delivered to the French beaches. That's where the Kurdish gangs took over the logistics of getting people into dinghies bound for Britain. Now, I've been warned about these groups many times. They were ruthless, I was told, and violently territorial when operating the migrant camps of northern France. I saw this for myself on a visit to a Dunkirk migrant camp with Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp, when a man pulled a knife on me and we were pelted with bottles as we left.
I mean, he was completely up.
Oh, right,
Okay, let's go. We've got to go.
But the British people deserve to know how these groups operate. So I devised a plan to expose them. We would send a reporter undercover as a migrant. He would find the traffickers, cut a deal on the ground, and we'd see how far we could get. This is not a safe place, so you need to just have your wits about you the whole time. Let me be clear, mate, these people are very dangerous. Anything goes wrong, you leave as quickly as possible. Now, I thought this was a hard assignment. If these Kurdish traffickers in Dunkirk were so difficult to nab, surely Britain and France would have cleaned up this mess long ago. But no, I was wrong. Just a couple of hours after I sent our man into the migrant camp, he found the gang and struck a deal to come to Britain.
I find a smuggler, so I got everything in camera, but now I think it's really risky to stay in this area.
Why was it so easy? Because they don't even bother to hide their operations. Associates of the group run an open-air market that profits from the people smuggling trade by flogging dangerous life jackets to migrants.
How much, bro? 50 euros.
Oh, and illegal drugs. So perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that an Iraqi man just turned to our undercover reporter and told him he was coming to Britain to join a gang that stabs and shoots, simply because they thought that they wouldn't know he had been convicted of crimes in Denmark.
Working cannabis farm.
No, gang.
Gang?
Yeah.
To sell drugs?
Drugs, fight, stab, shoot.
But it's the first time. Where are you from?
Denmark, Iran.
And now you want to go in England?
UK, because it's out of Europe, Schengen, Dublin, nothing.
I confronted the traffickers, but unfortunately, that's as far as it went. Because the one group of people who should have wanted to bring these guys to justice, the French police, weren't interested in anything we'd found. Some of you might find that surprising, but not me. You see, I'd investigated the officers the UK taxpayer pays the French government to stop the crossings before. A few years back, I got a tip that policemen felt that being sent to Calais was less about stopping the boats and more about painting the town red. So I booked myself into the 4-star hotel the French police stayed in while patrolling the beaches. I then recorded them putting twice as much effort into groping women and downing shots as they did stopping crossings. In fact, just minutes after an arrogant officer flipped out his warrant card at me on the dance floor of a Calais nightclub, photographer Phil Harris snapped pictures of a group of migrants successfully launching a dinghy for Britain. That wasn't a surprise, because in the smoking area of another bar filled with officers, a policeman admitted to me that he'd let people make the crossing before. You might be thinking, hey Zach, boys will be boys. So let me tell you what actually happens when they get those boats out onto the water. Piloting an overloaded dinghy in one of the world's busiest shipping lanes is a dangerous, near impossible job. Strong currents pull the flimsy boats in every direction, and the small engines barely have enough fuel to make it to Britain. The reason so many small boats make it across is because the French Coast Guard escorts them to UK waters, where they are then rescued by Border Force and taken to England.
So after seeing this small boat being escorted over by the warship over there, we've now picked up another one in this direction, also with a French vessel bringing it across.
I've seen French captains radio British vessels to pick up life jackets just to put on the next batch of migrants crossing. As podcaster Andrew Gold said when I told him, if Mexico did it to the US, there'd be a war. So the migrants are taken to Britain and end up in a hotel or some other form of accommodation. But of course, the relationship with the trafficker doesn't stop. No, they're just getting started because there's a debt to pay. Now, some of the migrants I've spoken to just walked out the hotel, joined a criminal gang, never returned.
I thought you went to like a hotel and stuff. They didn't know any of that. They just let you leave.
No, they didn't say anything.
But a far larger number stay in the hotels, and they're put to work in other ways, as delivery drivers, in construction, or in retail. I exposed the most brazen example where asylum seekers were working for the likes of Deliveroo and Just Eat last year.
You're asylum seekers in the hotel. Could you tell me why you're working?
It prompted one of the few examples of government action. The platforms were hauled into Downing Street and told to sort out the issues or face serious consequences. But that was just the most obvious one. Traffickers with an unpaid debt don't just give up because Deliveroo is demanding facial recognition. Right now, behind the shop counters and restaurant kitchens across Britain, the gangs are still earning their exorbitant fees. The sorry truth is that Britain is being taken for a mug by the traffickers, by the French, by the migrant criminals, and by the social media companies. That isn't changing anytime soon, but at least now you know how it works. I won't stop showing the truth, but if there's something I've missed, I always want to know more, so let us know in the comments below. Remember to follow the Express Report channel for more videos like this and other exclusive content. You've been watching Express Report. I'm Zak Garner-Purkis. Remember, when they told you real journalism died, they lied.